You are Locked On Marlins POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Fish fans? My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries. Welcome to your Locked On Marlins POSTCAST. That is right. After every Marlins game, we are here with you. And tonight, this was a quick game. I mean, we were in the sixth inning, and it was an hour old. And it was one of those nights. Everything was working for the starting pitchers. More on that in just a minute. But first, man, I just really want to thank you for being here and helping us start your day every day, whether it's Locked On Marlins with Pete, Locked On Marlins POSTCAST with myself. Want to thank you for making us your first listen every day. We're, of course, free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. And, of course, tonight's Locked On Marlins POSTCAST is presented by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB. All lowercase LockedOnMLB is the code for a first deposit match up to $100 with Prize Picks. There you have it. That is our title sponsor here tonight. This is your Locked On Marlins POSTCAST. The Marlins win in Detroit 1-0, baby. The Bagels all the way across the board, 4 hits for each team. And how about the starting pitching for the Marlins? 5 innings into the game, Ryan Weathers had a perfect game. He had a no-hitter. He had walked nobody. No hits, no walks, no base runners through 5 complete innings, and it was broken up in the 6th by the Tigers, and they finally got their first runner on base. And, you know, to Weathers' credit, everybody who would get on base, he'd turn around and get a double play on the next ball. So he faced the minimum through, I believe, 7 it was tonight. And you look at the final line, and you can see it on the YouTube description if you're watching here. And if you're listening, you see it in the description as well. So the line on Weathers tonight, fantastic. And I mean, think about it, right? Reese Olson, his counterpart, didn't factor into the decision either. So Weathers, Olson, not factoring into the decision at all in this game. And that's a shame because Weathers goes 8 innings, allows only 3 hits, didn't walk anybody, struck out for 97 pitches in this game thrown by Weathers. And his dad, David, former Marlins pitcher, would be proud. 97 pitches, 65 for strikes. The ERA drops down to 3.81. Tanner Scott goes an inning, gets the win. His ERA drops to 2.12. He goes to 2-4 on the season. A.J. Puck, PUK, gets the save, and he was just activated off the injured list. A.J. Puck just recently over the weekend, if I'm not mistaken, or not even. I mean, no, just even more recent than that. Maybe even yesterday activated. Let me see, like the news right here on Puck. And it's one of those things about being live. I can look it up for you right here. Yeah, he went on the injured list with shoulder fatigue, came off yesterday. So he picks up the save, wasting no time in that outing. But Reese Olson for the Tigers, 8 innings, 3 hits, 6 strikeouts, also didn't walk anybody. These guys, Weathers and Olson, putting on a masterpiece. Weathers with the off-speed pitch that was biting off the plate, the breaking stuff, keeping the hitters off balance. And, man, I'll tell you what, it is fun to watch the Detroit Tigers, Reese Olson. This kid is phenomenal. 6 strikeouts. And, you know, I saw something, and I think I got this right on the Tigers telecast, where he has, in his last 8 starts, an ERA under 2. And he's got, in the last 7 days, nope, hold on 1 second. Let me make sure I got this right now. Yeah, in 47 1/3 innings pitched, he has struck out 41 hitters, and he's only allowed 11 earned runs. And I'm looking at his last few starts, his last 3 starts before today, only 2 earned runs. So in his last 4 starts, 2. So in his last 4 starts, only 2 earned runs. And so he went, 7, 5, 6. That is 18, and then 8 more today. That's 26 innings, 2 earned runs. 2 earned runs. What a job by the Tigers starting pitcher today. And unbelievable. Reese Olson And then Ryan Weathers for the Marlins, matching them pretty much pitch for pitch. So these guys were just dealing throughout the day, getting ahead of all the hitters early in the count. I mean, it's one of those games where I'm sitting here watching, and I have a nice little setup. I have my phone here, 2 computers here and here, monitor there. So I have the camera facing me this way, and I look at the monitor, which has all my stuff on it and everything I do for the show, and a big screen in front of me there. And then these 2 computers, stats of the game on this one, actually running the show on that one. And then my phone here. I actually watch the game sideways on my phone, which is really a phablet, on the MLB network, on the app, which I subscribe to. $29.99 a month. Thank you very much. But it's great. You watch all your games and all those things, and see how, I get ready for the show here, Locked On Sports Miami, with your Locked On Marlins postcast. So anyway, you're sitting here and you're getting ready to do the show. And there's a bunch of stuff we have to do before every show, right? We have to write a description. So we write a working description, which goes on YouTube, and it goes on an app called Simplecast, which is what we push the audio version of the podcast out from. That's our version of, say, a Megaphone or an Anchor. We use Simplecast. So I start to write the description for YouTube/Simplecast. And then there's also titles that need to go in there, and capsules and descriptions and little other descriptions and different things that we have to write to get ready for it. We have to make a thumbnail in Canva, which goes into, obviously, on the YouTube and on the Simplecast artwork, which is what you see, the picture of Weathers. So we make that thumbnail, and we have to import the artwork of the show, which is that little home plate that you see right there. And then we create the rundown in Canva. See the headlines there on today's show and all the headlines underneath that. So we create all that, right? And once we do all of that, we are ready to go on live. So you want to try to get as much of that, bits and pieces, which is perfect for a guy like me, because my whole life, my ex-wife used to say to me, lists and piles. I always had lists of a partially done list here and a partially done list there, and pile here and a pile there. Well, for this show, getting ready, I have a partially finished list here and a partially list there. And see, who said it wouldn't work out for me in the long run? So anyway, the lists and the piles keep growing, and we have everything going on different computers to get ready for the show, so that when the game ends, we can get on as quickly as possible. And so that's what we want to do after every game. So we have everything going, everything working, and every time I turn around, another inning was over. And I'm talking bang, blink of an eye. Holy cow, 6 innings were over in an hour. And we're talking about a team that's had 2 games under 2 hours recently as well. So things are a little crazy right now. The games are going by quickly. The new rules are helping that. But both teams, man, the Marlins and the Tigers, not really, swinging at some bad pitches, helping these pitchers out. The pitchers were getting good calls from the home plate umpire in this game, so he was feeling it. He was maybe wanting to get out of here. And tomorrow is a 110 game and getaway day for the Marlins in Detroit. So we'll see. But Olson was great. He's been phenomenal lately. And if you look at what Weathers has been doing lately, right, I think we should take a look at what Ryan Weathers has been doing lately for the Marlins in his last few starts. I mean, I think he's been getting better and better. I like him as a prospect. I think that, look, Ryan Weathers has been pitching pretty well. He's only 24 years of age, right? So he's got that going for him. Doesn't have a ton of service time. Got that going for him too. Contract is friendly for, he'd be a good piece to throw into a deal, because that would tempt another team. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're looking to dump salary, you're going to have to dump cheap talent along with overpaid talent to, you know what I'm saying? You guys know the drill. You've been through this enough times. I don't need to explain it. But when you're looking at Weathers lately, I mean, he's given you quality starts pretty much every time out. 6 innings, 3 earned runs. His previous 2 starts before this one, he had the one against the Nationals that was pretty bad, 6 earned runs in 4 innings. So you throw that one out. But before that one, 5 2/3, 3 earned runs. Before that one, 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. And then throw in tonight, all the momentum is with Ryan Weathers. 8 innings pitched and no runs allowed. Didn't even have any real threat against him in this game, as anybody who reached base was pretty much immediately eradicated via the double play. Even when the Marlins scored, it was a ground out, like a fielder's choice. This was that game where the pitchers were that good. Somebody was going to have to scratch across a run. And then, like the starters are that good, the bats get stymied. And then there is something to that. The relievers come in. I used to love that as a relief pitcher, coming in after our starters were just dealing. And even though I'm throwing different stuff, those hitters are just kind of like in that little funk, and you have even more of an advantage as a pitcher. And, as a pitcher, you have the advantage anyway, especially these pitchers now, man. They're unbelievable in what they're doing. But I thought Weathers was fantastic, and I thought his counterpart, Reese, was really good too, Reese Olson. So a pitcher's duel in Detroit. The Marlins win one of these for a change, and 1-0 in 10 innings is not a bad way to win the game. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast right here, the Locked On Sports Miami on YouTube, listening wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Music, iHeart, you name it, Stitcher, Podbean. We are here. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries at Jim Gries _GRIES. Give me a follow, make you holla. And we are having a lot of fun here today. On the other side of this mini break, we'll talk more about Weathers' performance, the Marlins pitching rotation lately, some of the pitchers who are back, and some of the arms they're getting back off the injured list in this last week with Luzardo and Braxton, and we will do that on the other side. You're watching Locked On Marlins postcast with me, Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries. And do you know what I'm about to say to you right now? And I think Prize Picks is the number one sports app, the number one fantasy sports app. Prize Picks is the number one fantasy sports app in America. More than 3 million members on Prize Picks right now. It's the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and watch the winnings roll in. Let's talk about baseball, shall we? What a run it's been. Look, you're a Marlins fan going through that murderer's row of the Dodgers, Phillies, now the Tigers. Some good baseball being played in Detroit. Well, now you can make it even more fun. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your Prize Picks entries, whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs. Take your pick of more or less and add them to your Prize Picks entry today. Of course, you can get in on the playoff action with the NBA and the NHL. Win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during the postseason. And it is a lot of fun. You can make it a lot more fun with America's number one fantasy sports app with over 3 million members and celebrities playing like Sugar Sean O'Malley, the UFC Bantamweight champion, and rapper Meek Mill. So what do I do, Gries, to get in on the action? Well, I am glad you asked, my friend. All you have to do, download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's the first deposit match up to $100 with the code LOCKEDONMLB. Download the Prize Picks app today. Ooh, that was fun. I love talking about my friends at Prize Picks right here on the show. It's Locked On Marlins postcast. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries. And how about the Marlins starting to slowly get some pitching? And I don't want to get too crazy here. I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm gonna back this up with a little bit of numbers here. I mean, look, the pitching has gotten better, and you're getting some guys off the IL. You got Puck back, who picked up the save today. You got Braxton back, who started, and he looked pretty good in his first start back yesterday. And, of course, you got Jesus Luzardo back, who started on Sunday. So let's take a peek right here. You had that Phillies game on Sunday. And you know what I thought? And the Phillies have that lineup that, you're gonna get beat up. And you saw that with Roddery Munoz and Cabrera against the Dodgers, and now Cabrera is on the IL. But the Marlins and Phillies over the weekend was a pretty good series. I mean, it was. I don't want to say it was a great series, but the Marlins were able to squeak out of there with that last game on Sunday, right? And just getting that pitching back to where it should be right now. And you got a guy in Braxton Garrett who came off the injured list, and in that game looked good in spurts. And he gave up the 3-run homer in the first inning to Castellanos of the Phillies. But other than that, with the strikeouts pulling the string, he's got 6 pitches. So, you know what I mean? I really appreciate these young arms that the Marlins have, and I think you should too, is what I'm trying to get at here. The Miami Marlins with a slew of young talent on the pitching side. And a lot of these guys have been out and injured and on the IL for part of the year. And We're going to take a peek right now at some, because Weathers with a fantastic, that was his best outing of the season. If you missed it up to this point, Ryan Weathers with 8 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts, only 3 hits allowed, no runs, nothing. He had a perfect game through 5 complete, and it was in the 6th, to lead off the 6th, that it was broken up. He's got 38 strikeouts to lead the team. Ryan Weathers, his ERA is 3.81. That leads the team as well. He's got 2 wins, which today, he didn't get anything today. Tanner Scott got the win in relief, and the same thing happened with Reese Olson. He didn't get anything today either. He didn't factor in the decision, and the 2 pitchers combined for 16 innings pitched, and 16 innings pitched of the crazy, man. And yeah, they each allowed 3 hits and no runs, and they were great. Both of them were great. Trevor Rogers is up there in innings pitched for the Marlins, and his ERA is pretty high too. And Luzardo at 5.97 just came back off the injury. Sanchez, of course, came over from the Phillies deal. Cabrera is on the DL now, had the ERA up over 7. And when you're looking at these numbers, right, and you're looking at Roddery Munoz, his ERA is 5.17. A.J. Puck, you know what I mean? And I don't know. I mean, they got a lot of young arms on this team. Braxton, Garrett. So which of these pitchers and who is going to step up? That's what I'm trying to get at here. I'm in a roundabout way taking you through all these young arms, and Cabrera's on the IL now, but you got Munoz, and you got Luzardo who's back, and you got Puck who's back now, and you got Braxton who's back now, and you have all these young pitchers and Weathers and Rogers and so many, and Sixto Sanchez, so many young pitchers. Who is going to step up throughout the course of the rest of the season? Who is going to step up and take that ball every 5 days and say, skip, literally and figuratively? You like that? Skip, get it, skip as in manager, and skip as in skip shooting. I love it when I do that. So literally, Skip, I'm taking that ball every 5 days, and you don't have to worry about anything from me. I'm going to give you 6 innings plus. I'm going to keep us to 3 runs or less and keep us in the game. Every once in a while, I'm going to be spectacular. Maybe we working on a no-no here and there, or at least a shutout here and there, or, have that every 3rd start where I'm only allowing, maybe a run, maybe 2. And I think you're going to see that throughout the course of the season. So a start like this for a guy like Weathers, what is that going to do to his psyche and his mindset? And what is that going to do to help him moving forward, man? I think that these types of games for a 24-year-old pitcher is absolutely huge for his confidence, for everything about him. The next time he takes that ball, and let's not forget, how many starts ago was it? And let me take a peek here. Nothing to hide here. I got the computer in front of me, and I'm taking a look at Weathers starts. But let me see his game log here, because it was a couple of starts ago where he looked great in the 1st inning. And then he literally, where are we at here? It went to the Marlins page. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me for a second here. There's Weathers, and we are going. There's his game log. Okay, so what day was it? I think it was the Nationals game. Yeah, he never got on track. So the Nationals game, when we had that really long rain delay, do you remember that one? So there's a big rain delay, and I believe it was that game. I'm almost 100% sure it was that game. And then after that, it was the Oakland game. There wasn't a rain delay. Was there a rain delay in Oakland? Hold on a second. Where he had, let's see. Hold on a second. Was it the game in Oakland, or was it the game before that where Weathers... Weathers. No, I don't believe it was Oakland, although he did get the loss in that game, and the A's got 2 in the 4th inning. No, it wasn't that game. It was the one before that against Washington, where he came out in the 1st inning and got a 1-2-3 first. Looked great. Couple of strikeouts, no base runners, and then you had a rain delay, right? And then after the rain delay, he started walking guys. After the rain delay, he started hitting guys. And after that, they started hitting him, because you start walking guys, you start hitting guys. You really got to bring it into the zone. And that's when, bang, these big league hitters have their way with you. So, that's a lot of analysis there in talking about Weathers. But what I'm trying to get at here is, you look at his starts so far this season, and you look back at the Yankees game where they won 5-2, and in 5 innings they gave up 3 hits and no earned runs with a strikeout, but he walked 3 in that game. And then you look at the St. Louis game, where he allowed an earned run on 3 hits in 5 innings. And then you look at the Giants game, a couple of earned runs in 6 innings. And you know what I'm saying? Those are his best starts of the year. But today, by far, 8 innings pitched, 3 hits, 5 perfect innings for Weathers. Did not walk a soul, did not hit a batter. And at least that I know he didn't hit a batter. And so Weathers with a phenomenal start. And they say momentum's only as good as the next day's pitcher. And I agree with that to a very large extent. But when your momentum carries over as a starting pitcher, he's got a routine. Every pitcher does. They're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right? Every pitcher has a routine. On their off days, they throw a bullpen session, a side session, however number of pitches, 100 pitches, maybe 80 pitches, whatever, on the side, maybe the third day. Every single day, they might lift one day. They might do some calisthenics another day, eat heavy one day, eat light the next day. Whatever it is, believe you me, everything he does down to almost the minute leading up to his next start in 5 days is accounted for. And believe you me, doing it with that little extra spring in his step, doing it with that little extra smile on his face, doing it with that little extra swagger, the swagger dagger, yes, coming off the heels of a performance like this one. Look for Weathers next time out to carry that confidence with him. And that should be, who would the Marlins be playing in that time frame? That would be, and these young pitchers, man, Luzardo, Braxton back as well. You're gonna start to see who's gonna separate himself. But I think Weathers is gonna look really good these next couple of starts on the heels of this one. And coming up for the Marlins, they have got, let's see the schedule here, where we at, and then we'll hit the break. We will hit the break. Oh, how did we end up on an NBA page? Come on, baby. Come on. Here we go. Miami Marlins and schedule. Hope you guys are enjoying yourself in the MIA, the FTL, West Palm Beach, wherever you are, Jupiter Inlet for that matter. Anywhere you are tonight watching us. My name's Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries. It's your Locked On Marlins postcast. Taking a look at the Marlins' upcoming schedule to try to figure out when Weathers is going to pitch again against Milwaukee on Monday. So it'll be Rogers tomorrow against Mize for Detroit, and that's at 1:10 p.m. East Coast time. Unannounced on Friday against the Mets to face Severino. Then you got Braxton Garrett. Then you've got Sanchez against the Mets. And then Weathers again. So no Luzardo in there. I wonder what's going on there with Luzardo not getting that start. Well, anyway, we're a little late for the break, but I hope you enjoyed that analysis, having a little fun talking about your Miami Marlins pitching staff. When we come back, we'll wrap it up and keep looking ahead. These young arms and these young bats too. I mean, look, you got some guys who have come alive lately like Gordon and Bell. More about the next few games and what the Marlins offense can do after being stymied by Reese Olson and the Tigers today, yet still finding a way to push across the winning run in the 10th. It's your Locked On Marlins postcast. I'm Gries, right here to wrap it up in a second. You want to feel like a genius? Well, the name, it's all in the name. Policy Genius, right? Life insurance is the most important safety net for your family. Let me repeat that. Life insurance is the most important safety net for your family, for my family, for all our families. But trying to find the right policy on our own can be a daunting task, can say the least. It can be time-consuming. It can be overwhelming. Well, Policy Genius is here to help. It's the country's leading online insurance marketplace. Saves you time, saves you money, right? So can provide your family with a financial safety net starting today. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options offer same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exams as well. And, when I think about the positive feedback I've gotten from my audience about Policy Genius, some of the notes that I've gotten, the letters, the calls, the texts from my friends who I've referred, and they say, Gries, thank you very much for referring me to the country's leading online insurance marketplace, Policy Genius. It's convenient. It's time-saving as well. They have a team of licensed experts on hand to talk you all through everything you need to get hooked up today. Award-winning agents. They walk you through the process step by step. You can easily compare quotes from America's top insurers and just a few clips to find your lowest price. And I will literally guarantee you're going to get the best policies as well. They're trustworthy. They're convenient. What more do I need to say? Check life insurance off your to-do list in no time with Policy Genius. Head to policygenius.com/lockedonmlb or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com/lockedonmlb, policygenius.com/lockedonmlb. Bang. How about that one? Policy Genius. I mean, you think about it, right? Life insurance, no brainer. Everything that we do here, all of our great sponsors, whether it was DoorDash helping you for Mother's Day with all those great deals, or, FanDuel and the safety and security of working with them, Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports site. Of course, we just talked about Policy Genius and the life insurance. I mean, just think about it, right? It's a no-brainer. And we're here for you. And life insurance being such an important thing, an important part of your life, we want to make sure that you are covered in the best possible way for you. So thanks to the great folks at Policy Genius for that. And thank you to me, from me, to me, for you, for doing the longest spot in the history of Policy Genius advertising campaigns. Anyway, Weathers will pitch again at 3:40 p.m. on Monday, May 20th. That'll be 5:40 p.m., I believe, East Coast time. Maybe even 6:40. I don't know. Sometimes the time zones are a little off. The Marlins, of course, have one more game. It's at 1:10 p.m. East Coast tomorrow. Getaway day against the Tigers in Detroit, and it will be Trevor Rogers. What do we think we're going to see from Trevor Rogers? And then against the Mets on Friday, not really sure whether I don't have a starter listed yet. I want to try to delve into that a little deeper, but Trevor Rogers is a guy who I really, he was pitching reasonably decent, 3 earned runs in 5 2/3, then in 5 innings, and that was against Atlanta and Washington. Had that nice start against San Francisco, lost it 3-1, but went 5 2/3 and gave up 4 hits, only 1 earned run with 6 strikeouts. You love the electricity from him. He looked he got lit up in Oakland in that 20-4 game. He was the starter, 2 1/3 innings, 8 hits, 8 earned runs, and 2 home runs, 3 walks. Next time out against Philly, 8-2, and then 3 1/3 in that game. He allowed 9 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, a homer, walk 2. He's been a mess lately. He's been walking guys. His control hasn't been there. He can get you the strikeouts, but if he's not beating you up in the zone and striking you out within the parameters of the zone to just maybe a little bit off the zone, he's in trouble, because then he's coming into you in the hitter's wheelhouse. And then that's been happening with him lately. It happened. And that being said, I mean, the A's and the Phillies have been beating the hell out of everyone. So the A's and the Phillies are the last 2 teams. Trevor Rogers is going to be happy after the last 2 teams that he's faced, and being those 2. And then what in the world is going on with this Friday game against the Mets? Why is there no starting pitcher decided yet? Interesting. Luis Severino is going to pitch for New York. So no Marlins pitcher. Luzardo, I would think, would have been there in that spot after coming back off the DL, but we don't know. It didn't look so great in his first game back, or maybe he's still battling the effects. So we'll see. And we don't know about that. But then we'll have Braxton Garrett against the Mets. And Garrett's in that same boat as Rogers. I mean, he's a young, at 26 years of age. And, he's one of those guys with Weathers and with some of these other pitchers. Who's going to step up? Who's going to be one of those guys that Skip, there I go again, can count on, not only this year, but into the future. And Garrett just started his first game of the season on Sunday. In that game against the Phillies, went 5 1/3, 5 earned runs, a homer, 8 strikeouts, and a couple of walks. So obviously he's got great stuff. And you want to see, that was his first start of the season. And you want to talk about throwing right into the fire. First start of the season against the Philadelphia Phillies. It was Dodgers. It was Phillies back-to-back. Now it's the Tigers, and tomorrow it will be Rogers, Trevor Rogers, looking to, and again, to avoid those last couple of starts for him against teams that are just brutal, right? In the A's and the Dodgers as well, and the Phillies. So looking forward to seeing what he can do against a regular lineup in the Tigers. And then, of course, you have the Mets coming into town for a 3-gamer, and then the Brewers for a 3-gamer. before they head out west to face the Arizona Diamondbacks and the San Diego Padres to wrap up the month of May at home. Just one game at home to wrap it up against the Texas Rangers on Friday, May 31st. After that West Coast swing. Once again, the final score tonight. The Miami Marlins won. The Detroit Tigers nothing in 10 innings. Jesus Sanchez scoring Bryan De la Cruz on a fielder's choice ground ball, picking up the RBI. Sanchez slowly building up those numbers. If you're looking for the Marlins tonight, real quick, hit you with the box score, and they scored their 1 run in the top of the 10th inning. Look, Ryan Weathers, 8 innings pitched, 3 hits allowed, 4 strikeouts, no walks. His counterpart for the Tigers was just as good, and a really fantastic night tonight for the man Gries. And Reese Olson went 8 innings himself, struck out 6, allowed 3 hits of his own. And then when you're looking at the box score real quick for the Miami Marlins, before we get on out of here, for the Marlins, you had Josh Bell 2 for 4. So that average creeping up, it's at 217, but he's been hitting a little bit better lately. And then a hit apiece for Sanchez, who also drove in De La Cruz with the winning run. And then a hit for Lopez as well. And a run scored for De La Cruz that ended up being the game winner. Rogers pitching tomorrow for the Marlins, and anxious to see what he can do against this Tigers lineup, getting better and better each time out. The Marlins won, the Tigers nothing. Thank you so much for watching Locked On Marlins Postcast with me, Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries at Jim Gries _. I always want to thank you for being here and remind you, Marlins fans, to keep your game tight and your mind right. We are out.